received some different questions about it through private email. I think I might be a little bit more familiar with some of the different options, more so than a few of the other members in the Easy Robot community. So, cognitive services is really a wide topic, but this is kind of narrowed down to just creating a chat bot specifically. We're kind of focused on creating like a cognitive chat robot type interaction. So, rather than looking at something outside of Easy Builder, let's look at what Easy Builder does offer us at first. And we'll just start with like a blank project. And if we look at what's available in Easy Builder and you wanted to build your own chatbot, well, odds are you're doing that all the time anyway, because you're probably you probably have speech recognition, and within that, if you have something like this, where you are speaking to your robot and you tell it to do something, and where you have a phrase and then you have a command, right? So this is your spoken word and then the command of what you want it to do, what your interaction with. Well, right here, this is a type of chatbot in a way, right? Only it's not really chatting with you, but it is taking your voice command and then it's doing something. So, this is kind of the basic principle of it, but of course in these cognitive services, this principle here is amplified and expanded on, and a lot more functionality is added to it. But right here, this kind of little interface is kind of the same deal, more or less. So odds are, if you have a robot where you can speak to it and it does something, then in a roundabout way you already have a chat interface. And if I don't know about your robots, but a lot of times I've got phrases in mind where I say hello robot, or good morning, something like that, and I have it programmed with a script that might have some intelligence to it, that based on the time of day it responds with a different phrase for hello, or it'll respond with good morning or good afternoon or good evening, to add a little bit of intelligence to it, which is much the same of the different cognitive services. If you are chatting with an intelligent cognitive chatbot and you say hello or good morning, but it happens to be midnight, you might want it to be intelligent enough to not say good morning back to you. You might want it to say a good evening, or have it say something back to you like, well, isn't it evening where you're at? Something along those lines. So that's kind of the basic idea. And then within Easy Builder 2, a service that Easy Builder has had for quite a while is Pandora bots. That was kind of the original chatbot service for quite a while. I don't have a good feel for how many people are still using Pandora bot, but it's still out there as something that can be used. And then of course with plugins, then we have things like API.ai, which, as we probably know now, has been renamed, and other cognitive services. So that's what is available natively in Easy Builder. So now let's take a look at some of the plugins that are currently available. And I'm going to start with the Simba plugin. Because this one's kind of, I'm going to call it the outlier, because it's different from the other ones. It's this one, I'm going to call it more of a pure chatbot framework, because I think for this one, it's really all that this one does is it's just designed to be, and that may be simplifying the explanation of it, but reading through what it does, as we'll look at some of the other services, there aren't other things that go along with it. It's just going to be a chatbot, and this one is different from some of the other ones because the other ones require you to have an internet connection, whereas Simba has the option to create a standalone process where you could run this from your desktop, and you don't have to have a internet connection. Although in the tutorial that was written for this by the member that created the plugin, it details that, you know, as with some of the other plugins, not only the other plugins and the other services, not only do they require an internet connection, but this one kind of will come to life more with an internet. So if we take a look at the complete plugin tutorial that was written, it really does a wonderful job walking you through everything that you need to know, and it walks you through what you need to download in order to get the Simba Studio. And you might ask yourself, well, now wait a minute, you know, over here I have the plugin. Okay, I download this plugin, and the reason why I'm doing this is, you know, all the information is here, it's available for you to read, but I know that based on some of the questions I've got, some folks are going to be confused, so I'm doing this video to try to give an overview to some of the members to hopefully help clarify things and help explain some of the different options with some of these different services, so that way you get a better idea of what's available and what they can be used for, and how you might want to use them, and if you do want to use them, or if you don't, because some of these things might be a waste of time. You may not have any interest at all in them once you find out more about them. You know, you download the plugin, and what that does is it gives you the ability to connect Easy Builder with this cognitive service. So then going through the tutorial, then it guides you through downloading this software, this Simba Studio software. So it's like, okay, well, what is this Studio software? Well, the Studio is what allows you to create the SIML language files, which are really the brains of the chatbot in this case. So the chatbot doesn't exist in Easy Builder. The brains of the chatbot you end up creating in the Simba Studio, and it walks you through how to download it, how to create, how to configure it. I'm not gonna walk you through all that because the tutorial already has it done. But and then of course there's things you have to set up in Easy Builder to get everything working. But more or less what you can do is with the Studio, you can create your own language files and export them, and you can use them standalone. But while you could use it standalone, you know, the configuration has the option for Bing speech, which allows you to just speak freely, which is really one of the primary ways to be able to, you know, just speak naturally into, you know, into Easy Builder, is by using Bing. And of course, with that, you do need an internet connection. Kind of the point of all this is really internet is what is going to make most things really come to life. If you have some kind of application where you want a chatbot interface of some kind, but you know you're not going to have any kind of internet, like, I don't know, let's say you've got some kind of Halloween display or something, and you're in a remote area and you have no Wi-Fi, no internet. Odds are your best solution is going to be to continue building line by line solutions in Easy Builder, and that, you know, that might be about the best solution. So, you know, so this is a quick look at Simba. Now let's take a look at API.ai, because this one has a plugin available. I think that this one's a little more popular. This one, Simba, is, I'm going to call this one an unprofessional solution. Now, some people may not like that, because I know that there's several users you know, that do like this solution. I think it's a very nice solution, but I'm going to call it an unprofessional one because I don't think it's a business class solution. And I know that there's probably some businesses that are using this solution, but it's not an enterprise-wide business class solution. It's just not. There's a lot of different solutions out there, but in my mind, there's only three professional, high-grade, enterprise-wide business class solutions out there. And we'll start with API.ai, which has been renamed Dialogflow. It's still from Google. Pay note, the name here doesn't matter. It just hasn't, the name hasn't been changed. It doesn't have to be changed. That's what it used to be changed. But it's still by Google, but they changed it just very recently to Dialogflow. And as of this recording, Easy Robot hasn't changed the name of the plugin. It doesn't affect anything. It still works exactly the same way. And the directions here are not very extensive, but you can watch the video and see how JD chats through the interface. And I'm not for certain if DJ is using the Bing speech to feed into the plugin as well to feed it into the chat, but that would be my suspicion, because you can see the code here. This is an example of what you would send. You would send this to the API.ai or to Dialogflow. This would go to the kind of like out to the website. The chat agent would get it, make a response, and then return a response. So this requires a constant internet connection. And in this picture here, if it comes through, it kind of gives you an example of what it would look like. And then this is an example of the old console, and this requires you to have an account and to get API keys and enter it into your plugin. It's really not too hard to set up from at least for the plugin, but you do have to configure an agent out on the Dialogflow website. And this is the Dialogflow website. Now I already have an agent. This is one that I made, and this is one that you can talk to once you have it made. So you can type in things to it, and then it automatically says you get responses from it based on how you have it set up. So you can see the agent, it said user says hello, and then a default response, good day. And then the intent, it used the small talk greetings hello. And you can kind of see intents. So these are different functionalities. It recognized hello, and it pulled up what it needed to utilize. So in here you can create further intents. So you can kind of adjust the programming in here, the parameters. You can add more things. There's pre-built agents. There's different agents that are already pre-built for different types of services. There's one for jokes, so I could import that. I can one for different languages, one's for music, all kinds of different things to explore. And to be honest, I have not explored this as much as I should to be 100% proficient at it. So hopefully in the future I'll be doing a future video on Dialogflow and be able to show you more neat stuff with it. But for right now, this is just a preview to show you the basics of it, show you what it would look like if you decide to pursue this a little further, and to let you know that they do have training links in here, and they also have integrations. Now, integrations, and this is why I say that this is a professional grade, enterprise grade solution, because these chatbot services they're not really made for do-it-yourself folks. The original reason for these were to create intelligent, automated response apps for businesses, and that's what Dialogflow is used for. That's really their primary user, from small businesses to big businesses, because these are some of the built-in interfaces already. So you can already interface it with Microsoft Cortana, Amazon Alexa, Line app, Twilio, Skype, Twitter, Facebook Messenger. How does a business use that? What do you mean? So, as an example, different businesses have Facebook pages. Different businesses have Twitter pages, they have Twitter accounts. Like my cable company has a Twitter account. Now, if I tweet to them, is it always going to be a person responding or filtering through things? Not necessarily. Or on Facebook, if there's like a Facebook store or something, and I want to be able to ask a question to a Facebook store, why should a business have a person all the time sitting by Facebook Messenger to respond to a message when they can create an intelligent bot to respond to things, to answer certain questions? Because a lot of times, a message that person might send through Facebook Messenger, it might be something that a bot can answer, or it might be something that a bot can take a message for, or relay, or say, no one's available now, here's the number you can call. All kinds of things like that you might have ran into and didn't realize, oh, I was talking to an intelligent chat bot. You didn't know you were talking to one. And other examples like a web demo. You see that a lot on websites, where you might be on a website and you're shopping for something and it has the option like chat now. Maybe you're interested in an item, but you have a question about it, or maybe it says it's out of stock and you're wondering like, well, I'd like to order it, but if it's going to be in stock in a couple of weeks, I'll order it now and wait for it to come in. But if it's going to be not in stock for 3 years, I don't want to order it now. Maybe you want to ask utilize the web chat and ask customer service. And usually you start out talking to a chatbot. Then the chatbot will greet you and it'll ask you qualifying questions like, what can I help you with? Are you interested in an item? What's the item number? What's your name? Do you have a customer number? It might ask you several things to get information out of you and to see if it can help answer a question. And if it can't, then it takes your information and kind of connects you. And it might tell you how long you have to wait. And it might tell you who your customer representative is. Like it might tell you, oh, well, I'll connect you with Brian, and Brian will be with you in 3 minutes. It's like, that's great. And you might have even thought you were talking to someone. You might have thought you were talking to a human. No. Odds are you were interacting with an intelligent chatbot created through some kind of service like Dialogflow. And it would have been created through an interface like this. And then once you have it all set up, there's a way to connect what you've created, through your settings and stuff, to whatever you're running, like through your integrations. We've got the Dialogflow, and then the other two, there are not built-in plugins yet for EasyBuilder. The other one, of course, is Watson, which was brought up in the discussion already. Watson, of course, is well known, and I would say that its interface, it does function a little differently than the Dialogflow, but it's gonna be somewhat similar. But I think that they've developed theirs a little bit differently from, and I haven't signed up for theirs for their service, but unlike Dialogflow, where you just have a web portal to develop everything, with the Watson platform, they needed to download an SDK to develop your service. At least that's my best understanding of it. But once you get into their software, from what I've seen, it did look like it was fairly similar to the Dialogflow. And then the other one that we haven't talked about yet is the Azure Bot Services from Microsoft, which again is going to be very similar. And what they have, their services are all online. It's all cloud-based. You have to set up an Azure account That's what they call their services. Everything with Microsoft, it's all under the Azure platform. But that that kind of shows how things are changing kind of rapidly in the cognitive services field, because a lot of things get rebranded, shuffled around, but they still work. These cognitive services still work, but Microsoft likes to kind of move their things around, change their website names for where you find their stuff. But everything now is under Azure, and if you've never heard that before, what it used to mean is that it was their cloud platform for servers, and now it means their cloud platform for everything. Their cloud platform for different cognitive services, for the vision that we're used to using with Easy Builder, and it also means for their chatbot. They have new chatbot intelligent services now, and kind of like Dialogflow, they already have different built-in ways to engage and output through Skype and different things as well. And I think that the Azure is pretty similar to the Dialogflow. I do have an Azure account, but I haven't set it up for their bot services, but I have watched several training videos on it, and I can tell you that their interface is very similar to this, only it's much more. If you go that route and decide to explore that, what you would get is an interface where it's Azure, and then anything that you're signed up for under Azure, it would give you access to everything. So you'd see like a whole list of different Azure options for all their cloud-based services, and then you know, like one of them would be your intelligent chatbot, and then from there you'd get your different options for that, and you'd have the ability to configure it, and you'd get in there. It'd be kind of similar to this, and that's where the configuration and the programming, if you will, or the logic flow of setting up the agent and the chatbot comes into play. And it's not necessarily straightforward, because this has to do with how your robot will sound. You know, in this example here, I said hello and it said good day. Now, if if this is how my robot speaks, you know, if you know, in the example of my robot being Spock, if my robot is supposed to sound like Spock, having it say good day does not sound very Spock-like. So I would have to adjust that, and likely I would have to adjust nearly everything if I wanted to really make it sound like Spock, to give it the personality that I want. But as far as just chit-chatting with it, if I just want to be able to chit-chat and get answers and have it, you know, talk to me, well, sure enough, I can say things and I can get intelligent responses back. I said hello and it said good day. Pretty cool. But if I want some specific type of sounding answer, then I'd have to go in and configure all this and make it specific. But once I did that, then I could save it as a specific type of agent file, and then I could save it. Probably I could also share it too. So there's a lot of powerful things, and this is not only true in Dialogflow, but it's going to be true in the other ones as well, and even in the Simba as well, because once you make a file in there, you can share it, and even in other ones too. So that's kind of the tour around the different chatbot services. But don't forget that if you want to be able to freeform and just speak things naturally using natural language, then you're probably going to look at, right now anyway, with what's available to you in EasyBuilder natively, with the plugin that's available, then you're probably going to want to use the AI.API along with the Bing solution, probably. If you have specific business needs, if your robot is going to be a professional type of robot, professional type product, and you're making it for a specific business, then you're probably going to be looking at the main three: the API, the Dialogflow, IBM Watson, and Azure Bot Services from Microsoft. And with those three, you're probably going to be looking at what other integrations and services come along with that, and how might it fit in with your other potential customers' business needs. And the other thing to think about too is who's going to support this stuff, because like I mentioned, in the example of, with my Spock JD, with these intents in here, like hello and it responding good day, that's perfectly acceptable. But does that sound like Spock from Star Trek? The answer is no. So if my need was to create a certain type of character interface, then I would be looking at adjusting all of this, kind of more or less reprogramming it all manually. I'd be, recoding a lot of this stuff. Granted, it's not programming. I'm just changing the answers and then saving it. But it's a lot of manual work. It would be a lot of work. And likewise, let's say I have a specific business need. Like, let's say I'm creating a robot, and I want it to sit at the booth of let's say I'm going to create a robot that sells Girl Scout cookies, and I need it to answer questions about Girl Scout cookies. Well, I don't think there's an agent that already has, and I could be wrong, there may already be an agent that has answers about Girl Scout cookies. And that's the thing. I might, if I really wanted to partake in that information, I would need to do some research to find out, is there a pre-built agent that does Girl Scout cookies? And nothing found. Well, if I could. Food delivery web search, so that's a negative. So it looks like, as far as Girl Scout cookies, there may not be a pre-built agent that I'm aware of. So if I did want that, that might mean I need to look to create my own type of specific agent to answer questions about Girl Scout cookies, if I needed such a thing. And that might be a good time for me to look at Microsoft Azure and IBM Watson to see if, create accounts for both of them and do searches in those to see if is there a Girl Scout cookie database or chatbot already created that answers questions. That may save me that bit of time there, and then my only problem at that point would be interfacing Easy Builder into that. So that's the other thing that you'll need to consider when using these type of services is what exactly do you want your robot to chat about? Do you just want general chit chat, or are you looking for something specific? Do you need it to chat about something very specific? Because usually most businesses, which is what these chatbots are geared for, they're usually kind of designed to chat about certain specific things. While they can chat about general chit chat things, they usually kind of come to life and shine when it's something specific. And if you are creating an application or a product for someone, let's say you're creating a new type of Halloween prop maybe, and it's going to be sold to a Halloween company, and they're going to have 100 of these robots in different locations. Their own staff is going to maintain these robots, and it's going to have the chat bot in there. You might need to know what this Halloween company, what are they familiar with using already, if they're familiar with using any of these products. If they tell you, oh, well, we use, cloud-based, Azure Bot for, our online chatbot with our website to answer questions about booking parties and things like that, then that might be the solution you want to go with if you're integrating Easy Builder into a product you're trying to make for them. But if you're just making something for yourself, then you want to pick whichever one it is that you happen to like and gives you the features that you like. Like I've given in the examples of Mario becoming bigger by getting the mushroom. If you think that one of these chatbot services or cognitive services, if you just can download a plugin and connect it and add it to Easy Builder, and it'll just make your robot smarter, it won't. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, oh, there's Mario bigger. And that's pretty much what will happen if you're kind of hoping and counting on just adding in a cognitive service plugin and hoping that, well, that'll make my robot smart. It won't. It can add intelligence to your robot, but no matter what you do, it'll require more work. And that's the important part, is just to know that it will require more work, but it can add intelligence, but it's not going to automatically make your robot smarter. And it won't make your robot, even if you do add an IBM Watson plugin, even if we do, create one in the future, or through some of the different settings that are already available connect through a back tunnel into IBM Watson's services, it's still not going to automatically mean that your robot's going to be as intelligent as Watson or something. It's not going to be a magic solution. I think sometimes when we don't understand the technology behind it, we think that it's a magic bullet fix, and it's just not that way. But that doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile or worth pursuing, because there's a lot of terrific features to it if it's something that you need to use or want to use. And that's the whole thing. It's if you want to use it or need to use it. But if you don't need to or don't want to, if you like what you have already with Easy Builder, and you like just adding, your speech scripts as it is, or you like the features that are already built in, or you just want to wait and see how, some of the things pan out with some of the other users, like wait and see what happens to see if, like with Simba, or wait and see, like, what myself or some of the other users might do with the API.ai, which is now the dialog flow. Wait and see what happens with that, and see if that's a little more nifty. Then I'd say go for that. Don't feel like you're missing out on something if you're happy with what your robot is already doing. Don't feel like you're missing out on, oh my gosh, my robot is missing out on some magic intelligence. It's missed the mushroom. My Mario is tiny. I'm not missing out on something. Keep learning and keep sharing.